This is Matt Walsh with your Minute with the Mayor for Wednesday, May 20th. The case summary, total confirmed cases today sits at 182. Currently self-isolating at home are 88 patients. There are 4 patients hospitalized, the most that we've ever had hospitalized. 86 have recovered, 1 non-resident moved away, and unfortunately, I need to report that we had a 3rd patient die from the virus. Our prayers go out to them. There are 68 adult beds available in Council Bluffs hospitals, 11 adult ICU beds are available, 39 ventilators, and adequate PPE. There are no outbreaks in our jails or homeless shelters, and we only have the 1 outbreak in the local memory care facility. Making decisions during any crisis often involves making choices between 2 unfavorable alternative solutions. Many of us will face tough personal financial decisions in the days to come. Many large and small business owners across the nation are in the process of analyzing their next move. They're wondering whether it's time for them to stop the financial bleeding, close up the shop, and/or file bankruptcy. Many individuals are facing similar financial self-evaluation as they consider their futures. People generally can handle moderate, unanticipated disruptions to their personal budget. Things like appliance breakdowns, major car repairs, or an insurance deductible charge related to an unanticipated medical expense or property damage. But the significance of the financial devastation related to the COVID-19 crisis makes those typical disruptions pale in comparison. 40% of Americans earning less than $40,000 a year have been furloughed or laid off. Without any source of steady income, they are likely to have severely damaged their personal credit rating scores. Many have assumed unanticipated levels of personal debt because they were forced to use their credit cards to purchase food for their families and use debt to cover the monthly utility bills. Many haven't been able to pay their monthly rent payments, or they've become delinquent on their mortgage payment. Unfortunately, the adverse economic effects of the COVID virus won't end anytime soon. For the few who have been lucky enough to negotiate some payment forbearance with their landlord or their mortgagee, their actual ability to catch up quickly on their past due payments anytime soon is questionable at best. If you've lost your job, or you recognize that you simply won't be able to repay your debt, now is the time to start to plan proactively. Start by scheduling an appointment to get a free initial consultation with a bankruptcy attorney before making any important financial moves. If you aren't familiar with an attorney, then you can get referrals from the National Association of Consumer Bankruptcy Attorneys, and the first meeting is usually free. People who tend to come out of bankruptcy in the best financial shape tend to be the ones who contacted an expert for financial advice early on in the process. At the initial consultation, prepare a list of specific questions that you want to ask the attorney. Listen to their assessment of your situation and then determine whether or not you want to hire them. A Chapter 7 filing will liquidate your unsecured debt and also allows you the opportunity to decide whether you want to reaffirm your financial obligations on your secured debt. Chapter 7 filing typically costs about $1,500. A Chapter 13 bankruptcy filing allows debtors to work with their creditors to restructure their debt payment terms. Chapter 13 bankruptcy can cost $3,000 or more, depending on the value of the assets and the complexity of the restructuring plan. In accordance with the Bankruptcy Code, debtors who file for bankruptcy under Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 typically need to attend a meeting of their creditors. As a result of concerns around the COVID outbreak, the U.S. Trustee Program now requires these meetings to be held by phone or by other electronic means through July 10th. Once the bankruptcy petition is complete, the lawyer will go over it with you for accuracy. After agreeing that all the information contained in the petition is true and correct, the client must then sign it under penalty of perjury. Retirement assets are generally safe from seizure by creditors as long as they remain in the 401k account. However, that exemption generally does not apply if you owe back taxes or penalties to the federal government, or if you're in arrears to your spouse for alimony or child support. New corona-related hardship rules allow people to take up to $100,000 from their 401k without early withdrawal penalty or mandatory withholding tax. But these withdrawals are taxable at your regular income tax rate. The temporary hardship rules do allow people to repay any withdrawn money in 3 years and then amend their tax return to get those taxes refunded. But few people in a financial crisis will be able to repay the money in the next 3 years. Chapter 7 bankruptcy can erase your personal debt on credit cards and medical bills, so using retirement funds to repay unsecured debt obligations likely doesn't make good financial sense and simply results in additional expense to the cost of your overall debt repayment. Bottom line is, it's never a good idea to raid your retirement funds. Don't leave any cash in your bank accounts, because a bankruptcy trustee or creditor can get a judgment and seize that money. A Roth IRA might be an attractive investment option for cash. Contributions can be withdrawn tax-free in the future, since the investment is made with after-tax dollars, and typically it's protected from creditors. Additionally, any stimulus checks or other payments under federal law that are related to the coronavirus will not count as current monthly income for debtors seeking to file under Chapter 7, and these payments will not count as disposable income for debtors seeking to file under Chapter 13. Thus, receiving a stimulus check will not affect your eligibility to file for either Chapter 7 or 13. Don't give away any personal assets of value as a means of avoiding losing them in bankruptcy. Don't make any extra lump sum payments to one or two particular creditors. A bankruptcy trustee can sue the recipient of those assets and have them returned, and then redistribute them to your creditors. This doesn't mean you should file bankruptcy as quickly as possible. You can only file Chapter 7 bankruptcy once every 8 years, and unfortunately, things could get worse over the next several months. So you want to file at a time when you can erase the greatest amount of personal debt. That's your Minute with the Mayor. Have a great day and do something kind for somebody.